host Rudra Samdani, and today we have someone who beautifully blends creativity, education, and designing. Please welcome Janvi Sandesara.
Thank you.
Hey Janvi, we are so excited to have you on the show. So let's just dive right in. And like as if I'm right, I know that you have done your 12th grade from science stream and then went for arts, which are really diverse fields. So what is like how did you manage it and was it difficult for you and was it a deliberate decision?
So yes, absolutely, it was a deliberate decision. So I chose a PCM in my 12th, 11th, 12th, and then after I went to designing. So both are very diverse field, and definitely there was societal pressure and everything. But I did what my passion said. So I was always into art and designing. So choosing anything apart from that wouldn't do a justice to my passion. So I chose my passion, and I think I'm doing something today.
Yeah, that's gonna inspire our students a lot. As we all know that you have got a creative mix of art exhibition, yoga training, and teaching. So, could you pinpoint one moment that sparked your passion for visual designing?
So it was always a mix of everything. I did exhibitions in my college time. I used to teach design principles and basics of design. So what I think is when you teach someone or explain things, you get clearer and you get the principles and things more clear. So that is what I think, that all of those are a mix of what I am today, and there's not one single thing, I would say.
This shows that passion comes from experiences, and I'm actually amazed to see that you have done your creative designing thinking from prestigious institutions like London University and University of Sydney. So would you like to share experience?
Yes, so I would say that both of those certifications I did, like it helped me in my education a lot. So the creativity certificate gave me a knowledge that not only creativity is about design, but all the things about creativity and how you solve problems creatively is what it is. And design thinking is basically how the process of design goes on, and both of them help me to build my designs in a better way.
I got to say, got a great perspective. I also got to know that your artwork was exhibited by Lalit Kala Academy and at the Statue of Unity, which must have been very special to you. So, how did you feel seeing your artwork displayed in public?
So it was very overwhelming because seeing your artwork at a public space like Statue of Unity is a different experience on a whole side. So it was a whole process. Like we had to do live painting, sitting there in the sides of Statue of Unity, different places in and around Statue of Unity, and people walking by were observing and praising the work. So it was a whole proud moment. And when I saw my artwork being exhibited in the gallery of Statue of Unity, was a whole different experience altogether, and I was very proud of myself with this achievement.
That would be an unforgettable moment for you. With the AI becoming increasingly involved in creative works, how do you think designers should adapt rather than compete with it?
So what I think is AI isn't a threat. So if you use it as a tool, it is a great help to you and to refine your work. So you can get to do a good research. You can refine your creative explorations through it. So the basic thing, that is empathy in a design. So understanding the problem is something a human can only do and not an AI. So that humanized thing will never go. So you need not worry about AI, but you can use it as a friend of yours and refine your work.
And that's a refreshing perspective. By the way, I love your balance. I love you how you work, like balance your work. One hand you do freelancing, branding, and on other you teach and mentor. So, what's the most fulfilling part about both the worlds?
So what I think is, in my visual design career or the freelancing, I would say I had to deal with a lot of clients, and all of them have a different perspective of what they want. So interacting with them, sometimes stressing up things and solving it is a whole new experience. And the teaching part, I would say, is a good thing, because I get to have more clearer view about what I am teaching, and I see my students more confident. So that gives me some passion. And receiving messages from my students saying I got into NID or NIF, which are top D schools, are the best things, I would say, in my journey.
Yeah, that's really inspiring. I got to know that your hobbies are like music, watercoloring, and yoga, which are also expressive. So, do you think these passion outside the designing world help you inspired in your professional work?
So yes, definitely I would say, because music somewhere cools or relaxes my mind, so it is very important. Apart from that, watercolor. So watercolor is something you don't have to do by compulsion. It is a flow. Like whatever comes to my mind, I can just do it. So that calms my mind. And yoga is something you balance and you get into discipline.
That's absolutely amazing. As in India, many of people have a very typical and traditional mindset that if one do well in schools, they are expected to choose engineering or medical field. So, what gave you the courage to choose visual designing?
So I would say I got my 12 percentage as 91 in my PCM. So yes, there was definitely a pressure, or I would say expectation from the society that definitely you would be taking engineering or going ahead with your field only. But I got a support as well, a lot of support from my family, mentors, and friends, that I should go what my passion says. So yes, definitely there was a fear, but I think I made it.
Yeah, that was an eye-opening perspective. There is a myth between many people that designers simply make things look attractive. So, would you explain that? What is the problem-solving side of designing?
So everyone thinks that aesthetics is what design is, but it is just a cherry on the top. So the main thing I would say is knowing what the actual problem is. So you get to ideate, you get to brainstorm all the things your design will be serving, and working on that is what design is.
I think you completely broken a myth today. Since art is such a diverse field, what are the major subfields that according to you, holds the most promising future?
So I would say a mix of art or design and technology will help you ace your future. So not just holding on to art or creativity, but you can excel getting more knowledge about technology, AI, and those things can help you. So futures like UI UX design or brand strategy or merging business with design can help you more to get into the market.
That is really helpful. As a visual designer, do you see yourself turning your passion into a full-time profitable business, or there is a bit ceiling in scaling it up?
So I think that it is definitely going to be a profitable business, because design is not only making logos or a brochure or anything, but I think that design is a process. So if you understand the client and give what they want, build a brand or a whole ecosystem of brand through design, it is what is coming in the next years, and that will definitely bring a profitable business.
That was really inspiring. You know, everyone has their own inspiration. So, if you could collaborate with one artist, living or historical, who would it be, and why would you prefer them, and what would you choose to create together?
So I would say Piyush Pandey is not an artist, but a best creative person I know. So why would I want to get like inspired by him? So he designs not only for, like, for example, if he designs an advertisement, it is not only for selling purpose, but actually he connects a whole audience with emotions or storytelling, and he makes a whole ad look more like a relatable scenario for someone who is watching it. So I would definitely like to take inspiration from him, and he's a great designer and advisor as a whole.
That's a really good choice for collaboration. So, if you could give one piece of advice to students who are just starting out in visual designing, what would it be?
So I would say that don't only go for pretty things or aesthetics, but look for what the problem you are going to solve, and looking to the niche will get you through a great design breakthrough.
These are going to help a really designer students. So, if in 10 years from now, someone described Janvi in one sentence, what would you hope they say?
So I would say that I didn't only like Janvi didn't only did good designs or anything, but she actually made an impact. So what I think that I want to go ahead with both designing and my like teaching thing. So both of them together should bring some change in the society.
Okay, now let's jump to some rapid fire rounds.
Sure.
Okay, so one color that represents you.
Yellow.
An artist you secretly think is underrated.
I think the traditional craftsperson and the artists.
Yeah. Biggest lie they teach in art school.
Uh, so real works, like the best work speaks. So it is not such thing. You have to exhibit it. You have to communicate it confidently. Then only a good work or the best work speaks for itself.
White space, a sign of luxury or just the lazy design?
So I would say if it is used wisely, then luxury. If it is like as it is or put by like no significance, then it is a laziness, I would say.
One word that describes your whole journey.
Learning.
That is really good. So, with that, we come to an end of this podcast. Janvi, this has been such an inspiring conversation. I know our listeners are going to take so much from this. Thank you for being here. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Signing off, your host, Rudra Samdani.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. And for our viewers, like, share, and subscribe.